what other amazing things do the Andromedans experience? Because they're pretty much like us. They're humanoid. In fact, everything came, all the humanoids basically, as you talked about, came out from a certain system and expanded around the galaxy.
Correct. Out of Lyra, actually.
Out of Lyra, yeah.
Yeah. They talk about the escape from Lyra, and it's interesting how that all came about. There were not the raw materials to build spacecraft, especially in a hurry. So what they did was they went out and they captured very large asteroids or small moons, and they brought them into orbit. They hollowed them out. They added propulsion systems to the surface, and then on the inside, they would essentially terraform them. They would fix them so that they could grow food, generate oxygen, water, which is prevalent throughout space. All you have to do is catch comets and things like that. And if you have a purification system, you can do it. And that is essentially, in asteroids and small moons, how the human race migrated out of Lyra as it was being taken down by the draconian system.
Wow. And
it's a remarkable story. And, that somebody needs to make a movie of it.
Like Superman movie?
Well, not exactly the same.
Yeah, it's kind of these little threads of stories I think come through, and I agree with you that would be an epic. It would have to be like multiple movies. Yeah,
but that's what happened, and again, that's the human race. Those are our forefathers and foremothers. They're very ingenious, very ingenious, so that when they're pushed to the limit, something happens, and they do these incredible things. And I don't necessarily want that to happen to us here on the surface, but it just may be that that's exactly what happens. That there's this critical event that kind of just wakes everybody up. And at that point, humanity just decides, you know what, we have to get along with each other. And everybody drops their weapons, and they stop moving their walls, stop being amazed and moving their walls so we can get to know each other. And then we just, we start to come together as a family. I would say that many of the star families, the star nations, they look at themselves as a family. It doesn't matter your parents, who they are, what they are, but on the surface or in their solar systems, that they see each other as a family and they watch out for each other. And that's multiplied by 2 when they go off on their own into other star systems and travel, whether it's on research missions, military missions, ambassadorial type of missions. It doesn't matter. Everybody sticks together and they watch each other's back. And one of the things that's really interesting is that at some point, when all the regressives are off the planet and it's just us, Michael, we're not only going to have the surface, but we're also going to have the inner earth. So this whole thing about we have to kill the population because the planet can't sustain it, it's pure rubbish. Totally. It's pure rubbish. They what it is they want to get rid of us because we're different. And it's their attitude is, well, if we can't own you, no one will. And it's not about ownership. It's about us wanting our freedom and being free. So, this mindset that the regressive have is just, it's psychotic. There's no other word for it. But we're going to have both the surface and the inside of the planet. And what's interesting is that once that occurs, because of everything we've been through and the makeup of our DNA, all of these different races, we can petition any one of the galactic councils and ask to take the solar system over as our sovereign home. Technically, we do not have a sovereign home. Even though we're all on Earth, it's technically not our home. We don't own it. We live here, but we don't own it. It's not something that our race will inherit. So, but once this all happens, we are in a position to do that, and we would always have a home. You know, Terrans, as we call ourselves, we would.